Nice to meet you. I'm Lohen, Vice Captain of the 5th Company. If you require assistance from the Knights of 𝗕𝗏onius, please direct your request to headquarters. But if you need something from me, I'm all ears. Being a captain takes more than just captain-grade strength. The most important thing is... I don't know. If I did, I'd be a captain by now. Mondstadt really is the place to be. Can't wait to get my hands on some apple cider. How do I get along with the other knights? Well, I'm certain I've left a deep impression. That can only be a good thing, right? Oh, the rain's getting heavy. Who knows what the floods will wash away? Oh, the sky's clearing up. It's like those showers never even happened. Thunder drowns out many things, but never the beat of your own heart. There's no place like the Cat's Tail, especially in weather like this. Whew, wind's picking up. Too bad there aren't any dandelions around. Guess we'll just have to tear up some paper instead, huh? It's times like these when I really miss Cider Lake. Good morning. What's the plan today? Already stopped for lunch? Great. We've got work to do this afternoon. Tonight... Let's treat the troops to a surprise attack drill. Good night. Better get some rest, because tomorrow's coming whether you like it or not. I try to avoid anesthetics. They make it hard to fight. Besides, I kinda like to savor the pain. It reminds me that I'm alive, unlike my enemies who feel nothing at all. For some, power is a convenient excuse. Gives them a reason for failure, justification for fear. Perhaps having a goal really does provide people with some strange sense of safety, even if hidden behind their safety is a far more terrifying shadow. My fighting style? Couldn't be more simple. Seek out the leader, engage them in combat, and decide the victor as quickly as possible. The other knights should be used to it by now. But if they're not, what difference does it make? As you can see, I'm vice captain. Well, that fool Theodore got exactly what he deserved. Still, I feel like his talents can be put to good use. Once he's atoned for his sins, I plan to drag him back to the 5th Company. Not as an officer, obviously, but he can serve in the rank and file. Although it's too early to trust him completely. Or me, for that matter. You trust me? And you have the strength to back it up? Just what I'd expect from the honorary knight. As reliable as the rumors suggest. You'd make a good captain of the 5th Company. I'm sure 𝗓𝗏 wouldn't object. This vision has proved pretty useful out in the field. Just a shame it's only good for killing monsters I can touch, not the unseen ones that linger within. Nah, I don't drink. The only use I have for alcohol is disinfecting my wounds. In that regard, Dawn Winery's older dandelion wine is the most potent, both in terms of its disinfectant properties and the sweet stinging pain it delivers. Plus, when I use it on the others, I get to see them squirm. 𝗓𝗏's the most fun to watch. I used to be allergic to dandelions, but then Sucrose told me about desensitization therapy. I filled my room with dandelions and made sure to breathe deeply from time to time. Did it work? Well, put it this way. I don't sneeze around dandelions anymore. But I must admit, I kinda miss the feeling of sneezing till I'm dizzy. 𝗓𝗏's resistance to medicine keeps growing by the day. I mixed him a draft a few days ago that barely flushed his cheeks. If he hadn't glared at me afterwards, I'd have doubted whether I put the medicine in at all. If only we were still in 𝗏𝗏cry, I could drop in a few of those 𝗂𝗏 plants. The Grandmaster's duties? Well, when it comes to 𝗓𝗏, it's mostly leading people into battle. The rest gets dumped on Jean. Enemies, well, you can kill them for good, but paperwork never truly dies. Well, that's only because the acting Grandmaster was holding down the fort in Mondstadt that the actual Grandmaster was able to swan off to 𝗏𝗏cry. Now that he's back, well, he'll likely continue to do as he pleases. I don't think much will change. Kaya has a real knack for imitating the other captain's signatures, not to mention genes. In fact, his forgeries are so good, it's practically impossible to spot the difference. Kaya says he only does it to sign off on his own applications for leave. Personally, I think he's telling the truth. Too much moral fiber in that one. Amber said she's already talked things over with Acting Grandmaster Jean. She asked for some recon officers to come help her out, though they won't be official Outriders. Regardless, it's certainly cause to celebrate. Now she won't have to fly back and forth over Mondstadt all by herself. Although, come to think of it, the gliding license exam itself seems a bit outdated. Maybe it's time that got an update too. Diluc, when you think about it, we both fell victim to the same scoundrel. But now that those scores have been settled, is he really never coming back to the Knights of Favonius? He can't go back to being the youngest captain, but he could sure have a go at being the oldest knight. Noelle's still not officially a knight, huh? How long's it been now? Thought for sure she'd have passed the selection trials. Is Varka holding out for some kind of special trial just for her? Her knightly title's gonna have to be pretty long to match the length of her training. What stands out most about Eula is the sound of her boots stomping about the place. When she's in a rush, you can hear the dump, dump, dump from a floor away. Just like her fighting style, loud and penetrating. An impression so deep, it's impossible to forget. The 5th Company's consumables are all developed by Albedo in the 8th Company. Our crossbow bolts, bullets, and various alchemical products are all top quality. I sometimes drop by Albedo's office with plans for new weapons research. Though recently, it's been Sucrose receiving my requests instead. I guess Albedo must be working on something big. Again. Varka told me he thinks that 𝗏𝗏 the captain, could have taken out a Rooen guard with just a crayon. So, I traded some snacks with Klee for a box of them. And I'm gonna bring them to Varka. Next time he runs into a monster, we'll see how formidable a weapon it really is. Mika might be a skilled cartographer, but I'm even more skilled when it comes to sniffing out a lie. He once gave me a map where he deliberately left out all the monster gathering points, because he was scared I'd charge in alone, but one look at his face, and I knew exactly where the monsters were. Can't believe he thought silence would be enough to foil me. Sorry to disappoint, but I don't have any deep, dark secrets worth sharing with anyone else. I prefer to use a polearm, but I still belong to the 5th Company, so I make sure to keep up with my crossbow and musket practice. As for accuracy, well, I'm pretty good at hitting bloaty floaties and slimes. I don't even really need to aim. I heard there's something called a specter in Inazuma that's really hard to hit. Maybe I can test my aim on one of those next time. The 5th Company? Just an ordinary range support team. Nothing worth mentioning. We can lay down some decent firepower, but if we're faced with truly exceptional enemies, the most we can do is provide cover from the sidelines. Like that time we followed Varka to intercept the 𝗟̱ of Solnari. In the end, the main assault was left entirely to the Grand Master, while we were ordered to form a perimeter and hold off the wild hunt. That was the only way we wouldn't get swept up in his battle with Reverie. Why do I insist on using a polearm? I'll put it this way. The tastiest bait on the battlefield is the one who looks the most like a commander. I can draw the enemy's attention while giving everyone else the space to fire at will. As for dangerous enemies, the more intense it gets, the easier I find it to concentrate. The feeling of pure focus really is to die for. Just a pity that ever since I left Nodcry, there have been too few battles where I can truly lose myself in the moment. Do I feel fear when fighting at close quarters? Not as much as my enemy does. I'm no slouch, Besides, I've got medics waiting in the rear. What if the enemy has them too? Well, I'll just have to take out their medics first. Besides the rush of battlefield slaughter, my favorite pastime is preparing little surprises to brighten the lives of my dearest brothers and sisters in arms. I consider it part of their training. Knights need to stay vigilant at all times, after all. The good days of being stationed at Dornman Port are over. Now I'm back in Mondstadt. And acting Grandmaster Jean is nowhere near as easygoing as Grandmaster Varka. Aren't there any more missions in the field they could send me on? I like to eat spicy food. When I'm out on patrol, I often chew on dried 𝗓𝗡𝗏 peppers to keep myself alert. They're called 𝗓𝗡𝗏 chilies? Thanks for the heads up, but I think I'll stick to calling them peppers. Don't drink, all right? When I was stationed in 𝗏𝗏, I was always woken up by drunken knights. By the end of the night, those guys couldn't even tell what they were drinking anymore. Not even when I swapped their booze for... never mind. Forget I said that. Whew, thank you. This is exactly what I like. In fact, it suits me so well, I suspect you've been secretly investigating my preferences. But I'm not mad. After all, I have my own file on you. Back when I was learning how to poison meals, I got so good that no one suspected a thing. You've poisoned this already? Not to worry, I have a high tolerance for poison. In fact, I think I'll have some more. Well, this is clearly a trap, and one I think I'd best avoid. Next time, how about you let me do the cooking? Today's your birthday, so I got you a mini crossbow. I came up with the design myself. It should be the perfect size for your wrist. When did I measure your wrist? Don't worry, I did it by eye. You can trust my ability to gauge things like this. I'm vice captain of the 5th Company, after all. Oh, right, this crossbow can also fire backward, just in case someone sneaks up on you. You just press... Here. No need to duck. The safety lock is still on. Do I look like the kind of person who gives a friend a crossbow just to watch them shoot themselves? I feel great. Even my weapon feels easier to handle. I feel like I can see even further now. This should help improve my aim. It's like my mind's gotten so much clearer. I just thought of a new way to train. Oh, guess I'm strong enough to be a proper vice captain now, huh? Let's fight! Tremble, I won't judge. Leave none standing. Bet you weren't ready for this. Now's our chance. Huh! Like lambs to the slaughter. Struggle all you want. No fairy tale ending for you. The spoils of war. Let's see what's inside. A meager haul. Still, it'd be rude not to take it. Huh. No traps, no poison smoke. How unimaginative. Keep it coming. This isn't over yet. Now that's my kind of opponent. If you can't keep up, fall back. My turn. So this is my limit. I still haven't had enough. Wind, tell me why. Cheap trick. Didn't even feel it. I got some fight in you after all. Time for some action. Scout ahead? I'm on it. I'll guard our retreat. Oh, I never expected you to have your own secret base. It seems sharing secrets with friends can often help forge stronger bonds. To tell you the truth, I'm finding it hard to adapt. When I take my afternoon naps, I'm used to hearing Varka harping on about something, or Jean sighing in response. The thud of Eula's boots stomping on the ground, or Mika's nervous footsteps. Of course, each one is an alarm that calls me to work. even if I really want to slack off, when the acting Grandmaster, or the Grandmaster himself, shows up, I have to be up and at the door. Especially 𝗏𝗏, because he's got his own key. Couldn't even lock him out if I wanted to. Well, Eula always knocks first, then waits for an answer. If she doesn't get one, she usually just leaves. Nah, she's too smart for that sort of thing. She only leaves because it'd be rude to keep knocking. Besides, unless it's an emergency, someone as tuned in as her isn't gonna just stand there until you have no choice but to open the door. Then she wouldn't bother knocking. She'd walk right on in whether or not the door was unlocked. And then there's Amber. Now she's a tricky customer. If the door doesn't open, she'll pop up by the window instead. Which brings us to Mika. I couldn't possibly mistake him. Whenever he's nervous, his footsteps get increasingly flustered. You can even hear them from the floor above. When he gets to the door, he usually marches on the spot for a while to calm his breathing, and when he finally gets it under control, he'll push the door open and enter. If you open the door, just as he's taking his first deep breath, he'll break out in a fit of coughing as the shock disrupts his breathing. For the record, I should clarify that I've never done that myself, but I have seen Kaya give him quite a scare. It's hard to say if Kaya actually did it on purpose or not. I have a sneaking suspicion he was trying to interrupt a meeting that was going on at the time. Sure, I was just thinking about an interesting thing that happened a while ago. Why don't I tell you about it? I heard that Fontaine's Special Security and Surveillance Patrol was a hotbed for skilled sharpshooters. So I wondered if we might be able to organize a friendly exchange. After obtaining official consent from the acting Grandmaster, and the Grandmaster too, I sent a letter to the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol in the name of the Knights of Favonius. Not exactly. Normally, once acting Grandmaster Jean has approved an order, the Grandmaster signs any necessary paperwork without reading it first. Anyway, I took a few of my best knights from the 5th Company to Fontaine for a friendly contest with the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol. Now, I'd be the first to admit it. Their accuracy with ranged weaponry is better than ours. But when it comes to strength and endurance, we have the upper hand. I guess that must be it. While we were there, we held a cross-country race with heavy packs, and I noticed a few of their members had to stop for a rest break partway through. But not their captain, 𝗟𝗵𝗏. She seemed more than up to the task. Too right, she knew exactly what training to assign them after the contest was over. She even made sure to ask how heavy our armor is and how we usually train. Then she said she was going to start training with heavy sandbags to replicate the effect. They'll be fine. Apparently they're issued with muskets that are heavier than the standard model for use in their regular training drills. They're made to maintain their standard firing stance while carrying these heavier guns. The idea is to train their stability and endurance when shooting. Not just planning. I've already asked Sucrose to produce some weighted model weapons. In a few days, the best marksmen in the 5th Company will be able to experience a little Fontaine-style training. Me? Not much point. I use a polearm. Oh, right. Once they're in the firing position, I plan to put a glass of dandelion wine on each knight's weapon. That way, if they can't hold their pose, they'll spill their wine, and then they'll have nothing left to drink after training. If it's not too much trouble, could you help me find a few targets? Anything as tall as a person will do. I'd like to practice my fighting. This is a nice place to rest, but I'm not used to sitting around twiddling my thumbs. If I let myself do that, my spear work will start getting rusty. Oh, and if you happen to know any spear masters, I'd love to engage in some friendly sparring. And when I'm sparring, I promise I'll only use my spear, nothing else. My fighting style is as honorable as it gets. Well, real combat's a different kettle of fish. Naturally, I use whatever I can get my hands on. Miniature firearms, poison crossbow bolts, daggers and boots, knives up sleeves, poisonous powders, alchemical solvents. And if all else fails, there's always a rock lying around to smash against your enemy's head. If you're really lucky, you might even find a broken bone. The splintered end could be quite sharp. If you're unlucky and there's nothing within reach, you can use your teeth, head, elbows. No matter what, you can always find a way to overcome your foe. I don't feel any worse for wear. For me, coming up with ways to eliminate my enemies is a form of entertainment. I find it does wonders for both body and mind. But to reiterate what I said just now, when I'm sparring, my fighting style is entirely above board. And if my opponent happens to slip, cough, or sneeze, well, that means the weather was too bad for a friendly spar to begin with. Good morning. Yeah, I must admit, I'm having a hard time getting used to how quiet it is around here. When I opened my eyes this morning to an unfamiliar ceiling, my first reaction was to reach for my knife. Old habits die hard, I guess. It's probably a holdover from being away on missions so much. Yeah, I'm afraid you'll need to give me some time to adjust. I'll keep watch here till you're asleep. Then I'll hit the hay. Not cry, I have to say. I actually quite enjoyed my time with the expedition. There was a great sense of freedom, plus endless enemies to help me hone my skills. Just look at the Wild Hunt. Not only were they tough, they even came in hordes. Couldn't have asked for better live targets for shooting practice. Is this a hill at your camp? I've gotta say, it sure looks like the real deal. I'm impressed. Usually when I charge into camps like this, I don't have time to size up the barracks or watchtowers, cause I already have my hands full clearing out monsters. Oh, speaking of which, I'm itching for some combat. I'll take a look around later, see if I can't find somewhere to practice. Time to set off? Sure, but mind if I take the lead? Kinda curious what strange new enemies we might run into. That said, you're the captain of this adventure. My role is yours to assign. Just don't stick me in the center, alright? It's always the last place to see any action. Fairy tales, nothing but fairy tales. Too thin, too thick. This cover's too hard. This one doesn't even have a cover. So many books full of fairy tales, yet not a single one that would make a half-decent pillow. If only those authors had knuckled down a bit harder, I might have some better options here. I manage my time carefully to save as much energy as possible for the battlefield. With so much fighting to do, I rest only when needed. When allocating a resource like time, it's important not to let emotions cloud your judgment, or to overcomplicate things by trying to be too smart. For now, I have orders to make camp and rest. Remember to call me before we move out?